I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore!
The city and state cannot allow people not to follow the law, or you have total anarchy. I guess, under the Fifth Amendment, it says you're not going to be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. And, no private property is going to be taken for public use without due frickin' compensation or process. So here's the thing. The city has, under the state law, which under the U.S. Constitution that established the government of the United States, that says that we have the authority to establish rules and regs. And they did. And if you don't obey those rules and regs, you're advised of them. And if you continue to say, screw you, then you get the next level. If you live in the United States of America and are a resident, a citizen of the United States, or non-resident, you still, or illegal, you're still under the authority of that government and the sub-governments underneath it. You are, that's the way it is.
Okay, so we're talking about the Constitution?
That's where it starts, with a due process, and that's what the state tried to give everyone, is a due process.
So
to say, look, I deny the fact that you guys should be able to give me a cite. This isn't right.
I'm challenging whether or not the code is applicable. I'm asking for evidence to show me that the code is applicable.
Okay, and those are in tons and tons of legal decisions that have been made over the last 200 years.
Okay, so because of tradition.
Not tradition. We're talking established law.
Well, what does established mean? I asked you earlier what you mean by established, and you went straight to the Constitution.
Well, that's where it starts.
Right.
And
so
people challenge the due process all the time, saying the police or these authorities had no right to take the property. I wasn't given my due process. So I was given no chance to contest it. I never got into court. They just took it.
Now, who does this Constitution apply to?
It applies to all U.S. citizens.
Now, are you accusing me of being a U.S. citizen?
I wouldn't call that an accusation, but you're a resident of the United States, and residents, legal residents, and even illegal, anybody in the United States, the Constitution is going to apply to at varying levels.
Do you have any factual evidence to suggest that I'm a U.S. citizen?
Don't care. Your property was on the city street, and the property was cited. Now, the owner of that property has the responsibilities of all property ownership.
The thing was parked in front of my house. We've established that, right? I'm not contesting any factual basis. I'm just stating that the thing was parked there for 72 hours or more, and what would happen, or I'm sorry, not stating, but I'm asking if the thing were parked there for 72 hours and 30 seconds, then it would be in violation of that code, right?
If the clock starts when we see it, but yeah, once we identify that it is in that place, then yes. Technically, if you were to do that and nobody ever saw it, you are technically in violation, but there are obviously no repercussions unless an official gets involved, correct?
If no repercussions could be imposed on me, okay, let me back up. So the 72 hours. All right, that's the mandatory code limitation, right? 72 hours for that particular code.
Right. The city asks you not to store a vehicle on a street for over 72 hours, correct?
So, can any vehicle ever be stored for more than 72 hours on any city street?
Exception based with a permit, yes.
So, the violation was not the vehicle being parked. The violation was not asking permission.
violation was, well, let's try to be careful with the choosing of words here.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to make it like cut and dry, like bare bones.
Had you asked for a permit, which you have, I think, a couple of times or once?
No, I've never asked for a permit.
Actually, you did. And
No.
I have a record of it, but that's beside the point. It doesn't really matter.
Whoa. No, I never did.
Ask for a permit, and the reasons fall within the exception basis that the city says, hey, look, it's reasonable to assume that you're going to have to use your motorhome, and that you're entitled to that use, and it'll be more than happy to, but in order to control the amount of time that people use that so they don't abuse the rest of the neighborhood, and that's what they really consider back in 2000. That's what I think the use was abuse the neighborhood of so many large vehicles on the street that the city says you can do that, but if it's going to be over 48 hours, 48 for oversized vehicles, then you are required a permit.
Right, 48. That's right. I'm sorry.
So, and then the other half of it is that once it goes past 72 hours, there's another long-standing municipal code that says that they ask you not to store any vehicle on the street for over 72 hours. And we normally will, we warn it first and cite it, and then if we had to after that, we end up having to tow it. Because, again, if we want it off the street, you can't store it on the street is what they're saying.